So recently, I have started developing my very first game purely due to me wanting to play card games with my friend. The game in question is a very popular Vietnamese card game that we used to play all the time, known in the US as 13. Last time, I poured a lot of time and effort into the core game loop, but there's one problem. I have no way to test it out. So now, I have two options. One, making AI logics for bots, or 2, implement a multiplayer system. Well, I plan to play this game with my friends anyway, so let's go with option 2. Let's get started. Okay, so maybe I wasn't telling the whole truth. I did test out the core gameplay loop a little, and by that I mean very little. I can only test the very first turn of the game if and only if it was my turn. And the rule for starting is that you have to start with the 3 of spades. Doesn't matter if you play multiple cards, it just have to include the 3 of spades. And after what felt like an eternity, I got it to work. Okay, now if I play a pair, it will... Whoops. Triple. Pair of 3 with current highest face of 3, which have the value of 1. Highest face suit is diamond. Cool! Reminder, this is still just the start of the game and not the whole gameplay loop. Okay, let's finally implement the multiplayer system. So, how do one turn a game into multiplayer? Well, there are a few different ways to do so, each with their own pros and cons. For this game, I opted to go with a peer-to-peer connection system, which is a fancy way of saying a player hosts the server while every other players connect to that person. The biggest pro to this method is that there is next to no cost to the developer, while the biggest con is that everyone connection relies on the host player to not have potato internet, which is not always possible, but I digress. For this project, I went with the mirror networking solution, which is a high-level networking C# library for Unity. As for the peer-to-peer multiplayer solution, I will be using the Steamworks.net SDK, made by Riley Labrecker.
Labrec.
Before you say it, I know Unity have released their own multiplayer networking solution at this point, but these decisions were made before that became a thing. So I didn't really want to learn another networking solution for the time being. Maybe for a future project. After devoting a ton of time and racking my brain through hours of code, I did it. I made a working lobby. I know, oh, your fanfare is incredible. It brings tears to my eyes. All jokes aside, it didn't take too long for me to make the gameplay into multiplayer. Kinda. The lobby itself did help me understand how to implement the mirror library better, but it still took me a few days after that, using trials and errors to learn what I could. And when I was on the verge of giving up on the 5th night in a row, it finally worked! I can play cards! I can play cards! Oh my god, it's working! Oh my god, it's working! It works! And a pass here be free. Oh! And then I can play 8 out of 10 and be straight. Oh my god, it worked! That's fucking crazy! This is nut! Ah! The Jack Queen, I play. It worked! It worked! Things work! I've never felt more stress relief because I didn't know what the fuck I did! I didn't know what went wrong. These things were going so wrong for a moment. It worked though. It's so beautiful. It worked. Truly a tearful moment. Now, all that's left is to playtest the logic before polishing it some more and making things look pretty, but all that will be in the future devlog, unfortunately. Thank you everyone for watching. If you like the devlog, how about leaving a like? It does motivate me to know people like seeing these kinds of content. I am aspiring to be an indie developer, but I know I still have much more to learn. This is only the start of my journey to one day make the game of my dream. And if you would like to follow along that journey, consider subscribing. I'll see you next time.